Yet another quarter-final that went right down to the wire, kept us guessing all the way. My name's Mark, let's talk rugby. England, they look to attack early on in this one, but Bottia, he gets over the ball and wins a penalty for Fiji. Fiji then look to test England with a kick to the corner, but England claimed the line out. They maul it really well upfield and then kick clear. Then England come forward. It's their turn this time to attack. They're playing with penalty advantage. Doesn't come to anything, so Farrell pops the penalty over, 3-0 to England. They then kick it up the line from another penalty, claim the line out, and they look to move it. Tulagi, he rides a tackle and then does really well to ground. Farrell misses the conversion, but it's 8-0 to England and they're doing really well. Fiji, they have a chance to reduce the gap, but Lamani, he basically hit like both posts with the kick. It was crazy and it didn't go over. I don't know how he managed that, but the slim margins that were in this game though today. Curry then, he gets pinged for no arms tackle. We have a TMO review. It's a penalty only. Lamani makes sure of it this time and it's 8-3. England, they come forward. They get close to the line through the forwards. Looks like they're going to go wide as well. Like there were some decent carries in there from the likes of Itoji, etc. Laws actually did pretty well too, and there's space out wide. It looks like they're going that way, but then Marchand, he steps back inside as the defense is drifting and he's able to pick a line to go over. Really good score from him. Farrell converts this one for 15-3. We then have a TMO review for a tackle in the build-up to this try. It's head-on-head by Habosi on Smith. Habosi goes to the bin and it goes to the bunker for review. Fiji then win another penalty as Curry is playing the 9. And I felt he was a little bit lucky because there was a few times where he was giving away penalties in short space of time. That thought he might have got a card, but he didn't. Lamani then sets up his kick, but drags it all the way across the post. And I don't know what it is was his kicking though, but he almost has to aim for the right hand, touch line for it to drift back in to be anywhere near the post, because it just seems to go like this every time he kicks it. But yeah, this one was off target. Tuisofa though, then he comes on a bust after a good offload, finds him, he gets close to the line. Fiji then go back inside. Mata, he just sells a dummy. It was kind of Artie Surveyor type where he just, it's one of these where he just does this and it just gets completely bought. And he's about maybe 12, 15 meters out, has a run to the line because everybody just bought his dummy and he's over to score. Lamani does convert this one, that's 15-10. We then hear Habosi's yellow is going to stay yellow due to a change of direction. And it looked like he was very low himself as well. Like he was kind of underneath when the tackle was happening. But luckily, it's only yellow here. And that was a fair call, I think. Fiji then, you see that they're fired up at this stage. They're defending England coming on attack. First, there's just a massive double hit on a Toji that smashes him backwards, and then they dump Laws into touch as well. England then respond to that by, first of all, they make the Fiji maul unplayable, as Fiji were going from that line out where Laws got dumped, and they get in amongst them and do really well. And then in the scrum, Fiji go early, and they did it earlier in the game as well. So this one is a penalty, and just maybe a little bit over enthusiastic with that. The smashing and stuff in the tackles was great, but then I think the adrenaline was still going, and he just pushed early in the scrum. But Farrell makes it 18-10 from the tee. And then not long after then he slots another penalty to stretch England away to 21-10, and that was a halftime score. Fiji, 11 points feels like a long way back at this stage for them. Into second half then, England on attack. Looks like Botti is actually getting over it to win a penalty for his team, but Reynal says he actually had hands on the ground first, so England have a penalty. They go to the corner. Fiji, they do well though to basically disrupt the English maul, as England were trying to set up the maul close to the line, and they make it unplayable. Really good defence from them. They then win a penalty because Genge, he was like pulling a jersey. He was on the ground pulling a jersey of someone who wasn't in the maul. So stupid from him as well there. And he has his moments like that. And it's one of the reasons why he's a bit of a liability. He can be a great player, but he can do stupid stuff like that as well. England, though, Fiji clear, but it doesn't go all that far. So England come back. They're applying pressure again in the Fiji 22, and Fiji, they're beginning to concede penalties now. From the latest one, Farrell pops it over for 24-10, and it feels like this game is beginning to drift away from Fiji. But then Tuisova, he gets pinged for obstruction, but you can see that Fiji, they're beginning to have a bit of impact with ball in hand. And the obstruction was he basically ran into an English player as the ball was travelling out to Nathan Levu, and he made actually a good break from that, but the referee said that it was because of the obstruction, or at least part because of the obstruction. Felt like a little harsh there, honestly, and I think it was good that Farrell's penalty dropped short when he went for the post, and because felt like he could have sealed the semi-final spot there at that point. Fiji then, they're in over it. They win a penalty at the breakdown, and England players were they're basically, they decide to lie on the ball to stop Fiji going quickly, and not getting up. So the ball is buried under there somewhere, and then it just all kicks off. Squaring up, and Botti, not really a punch, like he kind of flicked out a bit of a slap, I'd say. Like it was all just kind of handbags, the usual stuff when there's a bit of a fight in a game. And it was just really frustration, I think, on Fiji's part, kind of coming out at that point, because they felt like they were building a bit of momentum, and then England are trying to kill it there. So then from there, they work it up to the edge of the England 22, but then lose a forward. Like, ball security was a problem for them, but with the way Fiji play, that's always going to be, it's those risky passes and the hard carrying into context as well. There's going to be mistakes like that, but they don't go away. They continue to press, and first Radradra, lovely pass out to the right, long pass out to the right to Moala, and he makes good ground on the right, out to about maybe 7 meters from the line or something. Then Fiji go left. Radradra is still in the middle, so obviously he puts in a fantastic long pass then out to Nathan Levu on the left wing. He bursts through Farrell's tackle, and then ball finds its way to Ravai, he goes over to score. Kuravoli is now on, and he converts for 24-17, and it really does feel like game on, because Fiji really worked for that score. Then almost from the restart, Fiji, they win a penalty. Laws infringes in a ruck. Kuravoli goes to the post, but he hits the post with it, and Fiji, though, they're first to the ball there, so it actually ends up not being a bad thing for Fiji, because they got that ball. England's defence does manage to drive Fiji back out of the 22, but then Radradra, who's had a fantastic game, he attacks the gap, offloads to Nasila Sila, He gets in behind. He's going for the post, but he can see like that there's cover there. So he then gives it on to Botitu, who goes over to score. Kuraboli ties us up with the conversion. Is 24 all, and Fiji at the moment, they're the ones with the momentum. England, though, they managed to come back on attack. Earl with a great run to get him deep into 22. Basically, it was Fiji were trying to go on the attack, but then England come back at them, and that happened again later with more dramatic effect than this one. But yeah, he gets him into that 22. Tulagi then goes close in the left hand corner, and then England, they begin to kind of attack the line, but forced a few meters back, and then Farrell drops back into the pocket and he pops over a drop goal for 27-24. Fiji then, it's up to them to find a score at this point. They have a chance with a line out in the 22, and basically it was really good work for them to get the line out. They put pressure on Laws, I think, and somebody just dragged his leg just about into touch to get them the chance. But then they don't look after the ball. England end up with a scrum. And then from there, Ben Earl, not long after, he grabs the ball and goes galloping from 122 up the other. He can't quite, doesn't have the legs to make it all the way. He's brought down maybe 50 meters out, but Fiji go off their feet, and it's another penalty to England right in front, and basically a gift of points. Farrell puts it over, makes it 30-24, and now Fiji need a converted try in the final couple of minutes. Fiji, they do get a scrum, in a decent position, but it gets reset a bunch of times, and the clock is just ticking down. Fiji eventually get the ball out. They go through more than a dozen phases, but not really going anywhere, going a bit backwards. We then have a Timo check for a possible deliberate knock-on from Farrell. We're in the Fiji half at this stage. It is a knock-on. There wasn't, a possibility of a break, so it's just a penalty. Fiji go up the line from the penalty, and they have a line out in the England 22. But then Fiji again, after that, they're going backwards a bit, and then Laws, he gets over the ball, wins a penalty for England. Then they get it off the field, and that is full time. 30 points to 24. England into the semi-finals, but Fiji played such a great game today, and they were so close to getting through. But it's the same in all of the other quarterfinals, the same for Wales, the same for Ireland, the same for Fiji, that they were close, but they just weren't good enough on the day. And England deservedly into that semi-final now. But just to talk about Fiji's performance for a minute or two before we go on to England, I thought the game was gone, honestly, when it went to 24-10, because I thought England are probably going to score at least once more before the end. Fiji, to win the game, they got to get 2 converted tries and then get an extra score on top of that. So it felt like that was gone for Fiji, but they didn't give up. They dug in. That even when both of their tries that they got after that were from it looked like England were defending them well, kind of handling them and pushing them back, but then they found the gap and they got through it, get in behind, and then once they get in behind, England found it very difficult to deal with them, especially because the Fijians, they trust each other to actually make that break. So there's always somebody there on the shoulder for the offload, and that's how really the 2 tries came about. Other teams who maybe wouldn't support as well as Fiji do, maybe it ends up being somebody gets close, but then you have to recycle and then you have to go again. But Fiji, they're just able to offload so well out of the tackle, and they give the passes as well. The skills are just so high. The passes out of contact are so sympathetic to the player who is, receiving that they just pretty much get it in the breadbasket, and they only have to think about what they're going to do to finish, not about juggling with the ball or anything like that. So did amazingly well to come back, and they can feel proud as well, because, they almost didn't do it. They almost didn't get into this quarterfinal at all. They had that game against Portugal where they lost, but they got that bonus point to get them through, where it looked like they'd already done the hard work in the pool to pretty much guarantee. Everybody thought they were guaranteed quarterfinal game, but they still had to make sure that they didn't lose that one by more than the 7 points. They were able to do that. Then they've got a chance here at the quarterfinals. England start to pull away from them, but they don't give up. They come back, and that's what people love about, I think, Fijians and the Islanders as well, is that the determination to drag themselves back into the game was so great to see. England as well. England did really well. We can't forget them. I thought the start that they got was excellent, and they took that try really well through Tuilagi. And I talked about before how both Tuilagi and Vunipola came back in, both kind of, basically blast from the past, right, when they were both really effective for England. And I talked about how Tuilagi has shown that he still has that impact, whereas Bini Vunipola doesn't. And when he come on as well, he didn't have much impact in this game either. I think there was a couple of carries where he tried to carry out 22, but didn't really get that far. Not like a vintage Bini Vunipola carry in there at all. But Tuilagi, he still has it, and with that try, he showed it there. And then, England as well, just being able to take their kicks and keep that scoreboard ticking over, that really helped them, because if that second Fiji try that they got, the third Fiji try, the second one in that second half, if that had to put Fiji ahead rather than tying the game up, I think we would have seen a very different end to the game, because Fiji would have had something to hold on to at that point. But England, they kept that scoreboard ticking over. The drop goal was really smart from Farrell, I think. Just to notice that they were just creeping a little bit away from the line, and he had the chance there to be in the pocket, and it was a clear kick at the post, and just get those 3 points, whether it's from penalty or from the drop goal. It did, it worked out well for them. But England now, they're on to a semi-final. Nobody's gonna, whoever wins tonight now, nobody's giving England a chance in the semi-final. But it means it's the same pretty much as in, I think, 2019, where they weren't all that fancied either in that one. And then back in 2007, when the Rugby World Cup was in France again, they got absolutely hockeyed in the pool in that one by South Africa, but ended up playing them again in the final. And so you can't just write them off at this stage, but they do know they're going to be going into that semi-final as underdogs.